Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode of Weapons Grade, where we grade different weapons according to what we like and what we think you would like. So Matthew, here we are today talking about fixed blade carry weapons. So you have fixed blade weapons that aren't necessarily concealed carry, but you want to compactly carry them so you can everyday carry. We have a whole bunch of them here. And these are kind of in the genre of something you would use for self-defense. So you're not going to really hack down a tree or do whatever else you do during camping. What are these good for?
So most of these are good for everyday carry for self-defense, like you were saying. Kind of get away, quick cut, and then hopefully the guy leaves you alone.
Okay, so I noticed a lot of them are different angled handles and different types of holsters. Some are outside of the jeans or clipped onto the belt, or maybe even inside. Myself, I like to have something really compact so that I could wear a shirt on top of it that you can't really tell I have a knife, but it's not sticking into my gut or jabbing into my leg. So where do you want to start?
Okay, well let's start over here. This is an M-Tech. It is a cheap karambit blade.
What's a karambit?
It's a type of knife. Most of the time they have one of these little finger holes here at the end. It's curved and it's a slashing attack. I think it's built on a Filipino martial art.
So he said M-Tech, that's the letter M, T-E-C-H. It's one of the lower cost weapons out there, and it does have a ring here for your finger or your, right? That's the right way to do it? You don't want to do it the other way.
You can do it either way.
So you're gonna stick your index finger in there, and it's a slashing knife, like he said, not a stabbing knife, because you want to come this way, and it's kind of intuitive feeling. It's got a nice curve for your hand, and it feels really good. Although this one's pretty huge. I'm not sure I would carry that. It says it's a MT665 stainless steel. I don't know, is stainless steel good?
Stainless steel's pretty good. It's not gonna rust, but it's brittle. It'll break more easily than most.
And it's got a hard holster that it clicks into place, which is nice, but you want to make sure that it's secure on you, otherwise you end up just tugging your belt up if it's got this thing. And it doesn't have a clip. You have to run a belt through it. So there's no way to affix this to your clothing unless you're wearing a belt. And again, this is pretty big. So it's not necessarily something I would carry unless maybe I was hiking and expecting a possible mountain lion or something.
Or a ninja.
Or a ninja, yeah. So let's go to the next one.
Okay, here's a little inexpensive
Necklace knife.
yeah, neck knife or push blade. It's made by United. Oh, cool. It's their M48 Hawk. So the M48 line tends to be kind of more heavy duty tactical, but this small little guy actually feels pretty good.
So this is probably total of maybe 3.5, 4 inches. It does have an angled top. It feels super heavy for the size that it is. You'd think it's just like a little toothpick, but this thing is probably one big piece of steel with a little bit of micarta or something logged into it, or what are those things? Rivets. It's got some micarta riveted into it, and boy, that really feels like nothing is in your hand. And it is a punch. It is double-edged, so you could slash with it on either side, but that punch tip is like super sharp. And how it affixes, it does have a clip on the back, but it also has these holes on the side. And I think how I saw it marketed and advertised, as this clicks into place pretty nicely, is like this. And you just run a necklace through it, and it can sit in your shirt. You run up, or you run your hand up and pull down on it, and you have your blade. It's not your everyday type of thing, but for convenience sake, if you're hiking, camping, whatever, yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it.
You can also use those as a boot knife too if you string it through your laces.
Yeah, I just wonder if the clip on the back is tough enough, and there's kind of a big gap there. So if I clip it on something, is it gonna hold into place, or am I gonna pull the holster up with it sometimes? So you gotta kind of watch that. If it's got a really strong clip, it'll hold the holster in place. If not, you'll end up with the holster in your hand like this, and you don't know what to do.
One downside of a blade like this is it's not very good for utility. So if you do have to go open a box or a package, it's not a great knife for that. On the other hand, here's one. It's a Chinese import blade made of D2 steel. It's a Karambit.
What's D2?
D2 is a type of steel. It has a little more chrome in it. They aren't prone to rusting as easily as a lot of carbon steels. And it has a great weight. This design is made by more than a few manufacturers, I think, in China. But if you notice, look how thick the spine on this is.
Let's see, I think that's probably a quarter to a half inch thick. I mean, this is the thickness of this metal compared to even this monster blade is probably double.
And it's so thick, it's like a claw.
How do you do this one?
So yeah,
Okay.
either way.
All right. And it's only sharp on one side, so you have to slash this way. And I guess you could punch with it. The curve is so acute that you could punch with it.
And a lot of it is hooking in and tearing out. Wrong sheath. So you can go for veins, arteries, or for connective tissue to disable people. So up in here, through here, the groin, and you just slash in and out. Grab in, pull out like a claw.
So is this considered a karambit also?
Yes.
So, and it's a very thin blade, sideways,
Strong.
but man, is it thick and tapered nicely, and I don't think I could break this thing if I threw it against a brick wall. He said D2 has some little chrome in it. It is shiny. It's not like your typical tactical looking knife, but I do like the fact that it's got some sheen to it. It's got some machined holes through it, probably to reduce the weight, and it seems strong as heck. The only thing I don't like about this knife is this sheath, or this carrier that it comes with. It doesn't click into place. It just kind of sits in there, which could lead to, you know, it falling out, actually, if you're moving around or jumping around. And also, it is not a on the belt, on the jeans type of thing. The belt has to go through it. So it's a very limited style of carry holster. But other than that, the blade itself is awesome. It just doesn't fit in there very well, and I think it would fall out. All right, let's talk about the next one.
Okay, so this is one of the best all around in my opinion. This is made by K-Bar. Small blade, small handle. It feels really good in your hand. This is good for opening boxes or for self-defense. It's a simple blade, simple ergonomic feel. It feels great. You can make a fist, hold it, or you can hold it lightly and just use it for everyday cutting tasks. They're relatively inexpensive. I think they're between $30 and $40. They click into place in the holster. The sheath is strong.
Very. So here are my comments about this knife. This is my favorite one. So if you're just looking for the end result of which knife do I go buy, to have some utilitarian purpose, to have a strong blade, to be tactical, to fit on my belt clip and have a variety of ways to hold it, to click into place, to fit in the hand, to fight with, to be relatively covert and have an everyday carry, this is it for me. K-Bar, you can't beat the brand name. I mean, Marine Corps Fighting Knives, right? And this, I think, is the one that police officers are going to have. So this could fit on a molly, this could fit on your belt, this could fit on your jeans. This has a really strong steel clip with a little reverse barb there that would hook under the belt so that as you tug on this thing, it doesn't pull the holster up with it. It clicks into place fairly nice. I don't think it locks in, but it's enough that it won't fall out. As you grab it, it has a well dug in on both sides, so you can go left or right for your finger to just fit in there really nicely. It's probably got a 2.5 inch, 3 inch blade, something like that. It seems super strong. It's full tang, riveted plastic housing. This thing feels like I could just go to war with it. I really like it. If you're looking for something that is a great gift for somebody, it's relatively inexpensive and you can't beat the brand. It does say Taiwan on it and 1480. What's 1480?
I think that's the steel.
Okay. So, you know, when you're shopping knives, unless you really know different steels, you're really shopping the utility of the knife, what you're gonna get and what you're gonna do with it. Most of this type of carry knife. You're not going to cut down a tree or shave off metal pieces or throw it against anything. You're really just self-defense and utility. But I love the K-bar.
So here's the second one from K-bar, and this one is a little bit more high-end, a little more expensive. This one has a nice little thumb stud here to unlock it. So it's locked in place, unlike the other one, very tightly. A little push,
Quick release.
and it releases. So this one is made here in the US, in Orleans,
And it's longer.
Orleans, New York.
Definitely longer.
And you pay a little more for made in the USA, but if you notice, the quality of this sheath is a little better.
That's made in the USA.
This one's made in the USA. Looks like the clip is about the same, so my guess is that
Same
might
clip.
not be. You can carry it sideways, you can carry it in your belt, and it just has even a more ergonomic feel than that one. Slightly longer blade, which means a larger thing you're carrying might not be for everybody.
Yeah, and it has 2 wells, so 2 fingers fit in those wells really nicely. Just very, like you said, ergonomic. It's a longer handle than the other one, so you can get your full hand around this thing. So I would say it's, maybe a ½ inch longer, but it does feel like I went from a compact to a full-size knife just now. I like the made in USA. It says Olean, New York, USA. That might just be the metal. It might be the assembly. Who knows? There's a lot of tricky ways to say USA. So I have to be grabbing it this way, which is the stabbing way, versus this way, which is the slashing method. So if you're going to buy this knife, just understand that you're going to buy it with the purpose of grabbing it like this, because you can't release it otherwise. And that release is just a quick thumb release. And it's nice. It's really, really thought through well. I've never seen that. And how they do that is with these little rivets on the back, these little thumb notches that fit into the quick release. And it is the same clip as the other one. So my guess is the holster is Chinese and the knife is probably made in USA. But yeah, you can't go wrong with K-bar. This is also thicker this way than the other K-bar. It feels heavier, feels full size, and I could go to war with this thing. But it's not as concealed carry as the other one. The handle, if it was on my belt, I would think that this would stick into my ribs or something. So this is definitely on the side of your body, but it's a well-built knife. How much is this thing?
I think that's $40 to $50.
Okay.
So here's a fun one I got. It's made by Browning or someone labeled it that.
Licensed.
Licensed it. It says it's made here in the USA. I think this is stainless steel, which, like I said, is a little more brittle. However, because this has so much steel on it, the nice thing is it's not going to corrode. So you aren't going to turn around and have a rusty blade that you carry every day.
So you said stainless steel is a little more brittle as compared to D2 or whatever this is. What do you mean brittle?
So say you took the tip of this one and tried to go pry something. The tip is more prone to break. If you're using this as a defense tool, you don't have to worry about that because you aren't going to have to pry anything with it. This one has a thicker spine, like I mentioned about that knife earlier, and it comes to a very nice little point. It makes it a good thrusting or slashing weapon. It has a very nice sheath. This is a Tech Lock,
Looks
is the
complicated.
brand. It can go through your belt, and you can actually change it if you unscrew this and change the position. So you can carry it in whatever position on your belt, sideways,
Vertical,
up and down,
horizontal.
depending on how you'd like to carry it. The weight is great. It actually feels better in my hand than most other blades. And this one's a little harder to find. I haven't seen it online the last couple years.
So my first impression of this is it feels very, very good in the hand. Very clean, very polished, refined, machined. This does not feel like a handmade weapon. So whoever licensed the name, what did you say this was? It says Black Label Tactical Blades. Black Label Tactical Blades. But you said it's a Browning or something.
Yeah, it's Browning.
And it's the Deterrent 101BL, Bravo Lima. And it doesn't say I just about cut my finger off. It doesn't say unless the 101BL is not a model number. Maybe that's the,
It could be the steel.
could be the steel. But again, it feels, if I was to give it a 1 out of 10 on the tactical, I'd give it about a 3. It feels and looks like it's strictly consumery, not tactically. I don't see a cop carrying this thing, but would I carry this for self-defense? This thing would probably rip through people. This is super sharp. The point of this thing, I just touched myself and I'm surprised I'm not bleeding. It seems extremely well made, machined, not handmade. It does have the notches on the back, which probably help it. Yep, I see the other notches inside this, which help it click and lock into place. Oh, I like that a lot. It's got a very good click, but it doesn't restrict it. But I guarantee it wouldn't just fall out. It's got a whole bunch of notches here and holes for lanyards. It's got a complicated
It's a
holster.
tech lock sheath, yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have to learn a little bit about this. It looks like it's got a wide variety of methods of carry, and so it's adjustable.
It's good for molly gear, good for different types of tactical carry. The tech lock sheath, if you do any research, is ubiquitous and is widely used throughout the blade industry, not just with any one brand blade.
And compared to the K-bar, you can kind of see lengths, thicknesses, and curvature. A little different. This one's really, really made for your hand and for that point to come out a little bit, whereas this one is hooking from the side a lot more. And you don't really want to hold it like this unless you're going to stab in almost a downward arc because of the angle of this blade. It's very, very defined as to what it is. It feels like I should do this or this.
It's technically called, I think, a hawkbill as opposed to a karambit because of the angle of the blade and the fact there is no finger hole in the end.
Hawkbill makes a lot of sense. Okay, what's this monster?
So this guy is one of my all-time favorite carry blades. This is a cut 4.0. It's made by Tops Knives. They make these here in the United States. I think it's a high carbon steel. It says right on here, made in the USA. And this is one of probably 20 Tops blades that I own. It has the finger hole, but this knife is made like a truck. You could actually use this to pry open pallets and just do heavy demolition work, but it's small enough for everyday carry. If you see the way the sheath is designed, you can actually wear it through your belt sideways. So if you're wearing a t-shirt, you can wear it at the small of your back and it's not visible. Because of that, you grab for the small of your back, you put your finger through the hole and you pull and it comes out easily, so you don't have to manipulate it like a lot of blades when you're pulling it from your side or from your waist.
It doesn't have the large hooking angle that a karambit does, so I guess you could wear it on your back.
Yeah, and it has just more of a traditional blade on it. Looks like about 4 inches, but the weight and the handle together makes this thing not feel like it would ever fall out of your hand, slip out of your hand. It's a great blade.
So you said it's high carbon. I remember early that you were talking about the other knife not rusting as much as the carbon blades. Does this thing rust?
So part of what makes this different than a lot of the cheaper blades is it's coated here in a material that they use on firearms often to make them not rust. So the only exposed portion of the blade is the actual blade
that they ground down in order to make a sharp part.
So the edge could in theory rust, but it's easy to keep that oiled, and because there's less surface area, it's not going to rust very easily.
So I've never held this knife before now. Do you know what this handle is made out of?
I think it's a linen micarta.
So it's got a very thick handle. I like it. It's got an awesome balance to it. It does feel like what Matthew just said, that you could pry apart pallets with this thing. This is your camping knife. This is your go-to utility knife. It's I like the fact that the blade, if you didn't see the handle, looks like a normal blade. It's not super curved, and yet the handle's super ergonomic for my hand. It just fits really, really well. even though it's thick, but I have smaller hands. So this thing, for a guy with full-size hands, would feel very, very natural. I do like this ring only because as I saw him holding it, it feels like I could punch something with it. This ring, this is like Lord of the Rings. This thing is huge. So no matter what size finger you can get through that thing. I put my thumb through the thing, I have room to spare. But it feels like I could punch my way out of the window or whatever it is. Like some of those things have the little window punch. You wouldn't need that with this thing. I feel like I could hammer with this. It's really just, I mean, compare that to some of these other things. It's twice as thick, but it's not that heavy. It feels solid, but it's really not heavy. I would say it's as heavy as the larger K-bar. I'm gonna cut my arm off here.
Remember?
Oh, it's got a release. I would say it's almost exactly as heavy as this knife, but it's a lot bigger, which means it's just a different steel. But I would trust this one more in a utility situation. For self-defense, it seems overkill. The thing is a monster. I do like the fact that you could wear it horizontally on your belt with that type of a holster. The holster seems a little cowboyish. It looks, I don't know, it's confusing to me. But I guess you run your belt through these loops, but there's no way to clip it onto your belt unless there's some other option, because it looks like these could be moved around or something. You see the other holes that it could go into. So maybe there's a clip part, and as it fits in there, oh yeah, that's a nice solid click, but it's not too hard to get out. There's no thumb release, but it's not gonna fall out by any means. You could be hiking and running and battling a grizzly bear and then grab this thing and it just comes right back out. So I would like this thing. How much is this?
It's about 110.
Ooh, this is an expensive one. So this is a lifetime weapon right here. Anything over $100, you better hope lasts your lifetime. I do love the fact that all it says on it is made in USA. That tells me that I never trust that this part is made in the USA because these are so cheap to import. But the machined part that you count on is critical. It says V-801. That's probably the steel. Victor-801. Maybe that's their part number. It's a Cut CUT 4.0 by Swanagon. Or is it Tops?
This is a Tops knife.
Okay, so this is their part number, is the Swanagon. S-W-A-N-A-G-O-N. But if you're gonna buy a knife all around and you're gonna carry it and you want a utility knife and you want a self-defense, something that's ergonomic, this thing's a beast.
And all the Tops knives are heavily overbuilt like that, but no matter which one you buy, they're all pretty awesome.
It does feel overbuilt, like you could go to war with that thing.
Oh yeah.